What do you like about Joseph Ossai?
He's relentless, really brings a nice physical presence, has a great burst off the edge, and really like what he brings to the table.
Coach, you have several players, Nigerian players, like the NBA would go to Africa, get a lot of players. There seems to be the love of football seems to be emerging from there, and guys are coming over here really making an impact on the game of football.
Yes, I don't feel totally equipped to fully give you a great answer on that one, but we're really impressed with his character and just our interactions with him, and had some coaches down at the pro day, and really like the human being, really like the football player. Excited to have him.
Zach, you hear motor all the time with players, maybe not all the time, but enough times, and everything you read about him, and that's all the word that keeps coming up is motor, motor, motor. I mean, is he at a different level with that even?
Yeah, we like guys that finish, and the play is not over until they finish and they got around the ball and put their hand on the ball. And that's what he shows over and over again on tape. And, just that says a lot about your character. Even if you don't know the kid or the man, you get a chance to see that on tape. And I think I mentioned that last week when I did the interview with you all, when you talked about evaluating a guy and what he's about just by watching tape, and you can tell just what he puts on tape every single snap of the game. That's what this guy does. And so we're proud to make him a Bengal.
I know your big board looks a lot different than what a lot of the scouts and analysts look like, but a lot of people had him as a top 50 guy. Was he a guy you guys considered in the second round?
We certainly didn't expect him to be there where he was. But again, that happens. Everyone's board's different, so it's not shocking that something like that would happen. But again, when he comes to you, it's another one where you're watching every pick tick off the clock there, and you're hoping he's going to be there, and he was. And so we're fired up about it.
Zach, you still have, my math is right, 7 more picks, at least right now, on Saturday. Do you expect to add more depth on the offensive line, and what positions are you still looking to address?
I think what we've put ourselves in a position to do now is take the best players available. And now you can double up at some positions. You can take some guys that maybe fall at other positions that really help us as a football team. And so we've put ourselves in a good spot. Those were 2 areas of need that we just addressed. It didn't mean that we were hell-bent on taking a player in that round, if they didn't fit us, the value there, but they did. And so we took them, and now we just feel really good about how we're positioned the rest of the way.
How much was Ossai? How much was Ossai kind of one of these guys that maybe was out of position a little bit at first, and maybe once they kind of got him into the right spot on the edge, started to show that he can be maybe a lot more than he even was before?
I think that's what you see. It's hard with a season like this to factor in, okay, did he just become more comfortable with the position as the season went on? How much did a lack of offseason, a lack of training camp in a lot of regards? I don't exactly know what every team went through in terms of shutdown. Some teams I know were shut down 2 weeks in training camp because of outbreaks, and I can't give you the information on every team. But whatever it is, you saw how he finished the year. He's got a lot of tools that we like and continue to develop, and happy he fell to us.
Is there a possibility that you could package some of the picks and move back up into the third round at a later stage, or do you think you probably take the picks that you've gotten and just draft accordingly?
I think everything's a possibility at this point. It's just you wait and see here. There's still a lot of picks before it gets us. I think there's 40 picks or so before we pick again, if I'm not mistaken. And so we continue to have all those conversations. If there's players you like, what would you do? Is it better just to sit and wait? So we'll just see how it plays out tonight.
How do you think he fits in with Trey Hendrickson and Sam Hubbard?
I think it's always good to have depth and guys that can fill in. We don't expect Trey and Sam to play every snap of every game. And so, really when you're looking at guys that can be that third guy for you with Khalid and, we got Amani Bledsoe on the roster as well. We got guys that are competing, and that third end spot, really, in a lot of ways, you look at that like a starter just because of some of the reps that they get. And it's a 17-game season. That's a long way. That guy's got to play a lot in that role. And so we feel like he really helps us with the depth, and he'll come in and compete for a lot of playing time right away.
Zach, there's some talk that he could put on some weight and maybe play inside. How much versatility do you see in his potential?
That's one of the things you see when you get around him a little bit more. But right now we feel great about the player that we're getting, that he's going to be productive for us and play a good role. And sometimes you need to get the guy in the building and get around him a little bit to fully understand how he's going to help you. But we feel really good about how we'd use him right out the gate at defensive end.
2 more minutes.
Zach, y'all spent a good amount of resources both in free agency and the draft and overhauling this defense. I mean, how excited are you to kind of see what this defense looks like once you step on the field? And how imperative is it for it to be improved or to at least play like it did toward the end of last season?
Yeah, that's huge, just to continue the momentum. I know obviously that Week 17 game wasn't what we wanted, but before that we were playing some good football. And so again, just to get guys healthy, first of all, the DJ Readers of the world back in, and then Trey Waynes, just all these guys that we added to the mix, really encouraging. And then that leadership just continuing to step up. Just the amount of guys that are texting me tonight for these guys' numbers, as we add them to the football team, guys that, have no, they won't be in the same position room. They're not even on the same side of the ball, but just guys that want to reach out. That's what we've been working towards these last 2.5 years, and really happy with the attitude of the guys that are already on the team.
Is Ossai a legitimate 4.6 guy? Did you guys get him in the 4.6s for 40?
I'm pretty certain of that. I don't have the numbers right in front of me, but I recall as I was looking, as we were talking through the pick, that he's pretty close to that.
Coach, you have a lot of assets in terms of draft picks, but also guys coming off injuries. You sometimes think people really just don't know how well this roster is stacked with players because of the injuries and things that happened last year.
Well, I'm certainly encouraged by what we got coming back. And I honestly don't worry about the perception of what other people think, because I just know. I know what we got coming back. I know what we added. I know what we're positioning ourselves to do. We got to go out there and prove it. We haven't done that yet. And so, I wouldn't bother telling anybody what to think, because until we walk on the field and start winning football games, it doesn't matter. So we got to go out there and prove it. But I'm excited about the roster that we're going to put on the field that gives us that opportunity to do that.